The Rangers do it again. They get another win, this time at Boston in the Thanksgiving Showdown. And this was actually the first ABC NHL game since the 2004 Game 7 Stanley Cup Final between the Tampa Bay Lightning and Calgary Flames. So the Rangers winning in front of a national audience, and it looked like this was going to be a game that Boston was going to win handily, but the Rangers, they respond well. I mean, Gerard Gallant, and it's Gallant now, apparently not Gallant, so we're going to go with Gallant. But they respond. Whenever another team scores a goal, there's a quick response from the Rangers. It's the exact opposite to the team that we saw last year under David Quinn, where they would play, where their goal differential would be really good, but they just wouldn't get the key points. They would win a lot of blowouts, but they'd lose a lot of close games and just choke away points. It's the opposite now, but I think also in this one, like, it was a bad first period, but they really did rebound. The second and third period, I thought the Rangers played very well. And they're getting contributions up and down the lineup. And it helps that Igor Shesterkin has been the backbone, showing that he is one of the best goaltenders in hockey. Just very consistent, someone that you can depend upon. And then you're getting Artemi Panarin back into star form, and we'll talk about Panarin, and he scores the game-winning goal. He got involved in a late game situation with Brad Marchand, which it kind of is taking on a life of its own. But, Ryan Strome extends his point streak to 8. He scored a key goal at the end of the first period. And, a stat that I found very interesting, going back to sort of the clutchness factor, is that the Rangers, when tied or leading after the first, I believe are 11-0-2 or something to that effect. And that is extremely impressive. The fact that they've been able to, for the most part, hold leads. Of course, I'm thinking back to the Vancouver and Edmonton games where they let those slip away. They still got a point in those games, but for the most part, the Rangers are doing a good job protecting leads and not getting too scrambly at the end of games. But, so you have that. And, we know about Chris Kreider, who, in this game almost scored a ridiculously crazy, like, lacrosse-style goal where, we saw Svechnikov have a goal like that a few years ago, where you take the puck, put the puck on the blade of the stick, and then just sort of wrap it around the net in the air. And at first they called it a goal, but it wasn't. It hit off the crossbar, but it was an unbelievable attempt. It was in the third period too, so that was honestly something you don't normally see. But you have that. We saw what the fourth line did last game against the Islanders. In this one, I wouldn't say as effective, but Barclay Goodrow centering that fourth line, it adds a different element, and it's cool to see a guy like Ryan Reeves, at the end of games when the Rangers are up by, let's say 3 goals or the game's out of hand, he's on the ice, and it's basically to protect things, just to make sure nothing. He's almost a police officer out there, really making sure that Boston, whoever the opponent is, doesn't try to start anything. With Reeves on the ice, you're not going to want to test that. So, and we know Adam Fox, he's defending his Norris Trophy, candidacy, and he's really going to be, I think, again, one of the finalists for the Norris Trophy. He has 21 points in 20 games and plays great defense, has a great plus-minus. And Ryan Lindgren next to him just is kind of slow and steady, just, does a very good job. And the Miller-Trouba pair, while in this game had some sloppy moments, they've been really excellent. So I can go on and on. But really, in this one, it was Julien Gauthier who gets 2 very key primary assists on the game-winning goal by Panarin and the goal that gave the Rangers a 4-2 lead, which was scored by Alexis Lafreniere. Gauthier is finally coming to his own as an NHL player. Has always had the potential, has always had the skill set, but, Gallant is now giving him an opportunity to perform. And I really think that is something that is big for a player like him, who's a young player who, you want to give him that confidence. That's the thing, under Gerard Gallant is that these players, he's a player's coach, but he also demands playing the game the right way. Like you don't want to fuck around with him. Like again, I think with David Quinn, it was just different. I think he was demanding as well. In fact, I think he really was demanding in the details. I think, whereas Gallant, it's more. It feels like it's more simplistic. Like, hey, play your game. Like, don't get too involved in the intricacies. Like, of course, like pay attention to the detail and the structure. But I really think that it's just their minds aren't all over the place. More cohesive, and it's great to see Gauthier really be a key player here, really taking advantage with that Sammy Blay injury. He's, Gallant is showing faith in him, and also Dryden Hunt. Dryden Hunt playing now with Panarin and Strome. Hunt had a really good game. He had a goal and an assist. So, they're kind of saying that maybe he's like a Jesper Foss type. He doesn't have to be like that, but the point is that Hunt, made this team, I think, out of everyone that made this team, he was probably the biggest surprise when I think about it. I mean, I think everyone else, there was an expectation that they would make it. Hunt kind of, he really worked hard in training camp and in preseason. He earned that spot, and he's actually played, believe it or not, every single game. He was done a healthy scratch once. So it's great to see that. So again, you're getting those contributions. And like I said, as far as this game, the Rangers really got off to a very slow start. David Pastrnak does high stick Ryan Lindgren. Rangers are unsuccessful on that power play. And then the Rangers take a couple of penalties. Kreider interference, and Kreider had done a good job recently of not taking penalties. He does there. And as they're about to kill that off, 10 seconds left, Adam Fox high sticks Craig Smith. Unfortunately, the Rangers did kill off that power play, but as it expired, just after it expired, Jacob Trouba kind of fumbled the puck just a little bit, and it led to Craig Smith scoring. Craig Smith moves in all alone. Nemeth kind of let him come in a little bit too easily, but I guess there was another Bruin there, so Nemeth kind of let Shesterkin take the Smith shot, and Smith scores. So that makes it one other thing, and Boston continued to pressure. And at this point, the Bruins are really dominating in faceoffs, which makes sense. They're a good faceoff team. The Rangers are not. We know this. And they were out shooting the Rangers like crazy. But the Rangers, and this to me was just very reminiscent of what we've seen all season. Ryan Strome scores at the end of the first. And this was very key. With 6 seconds left, Strome scores from Panarin and Hunt. And that was really big. I mean, even though Boston would retake that 2-1 lead in the second, I felt that was really big. And Marchand hooks Trouba 17 seconds in the second. The Rangers don't score on the power play. So the Rangers today 0 for 2 on the power play. Had some opportunities. I mean, in fact, Strome had a really good setup, but decided to not shoot the puck. And it's frustrating when he does that, especially when you see him score in the first period. So that is unsuccessful. And then this was a play. So Boston scores on a play where Barclay Goodrow gets kicked out of the faceoff and Kevin Rooney takes over. But they didn't, one of them mess up in terms of the responsibilities. They didn't switch. And it's kind of understandable because, I mean, on the one hand, Rooney's used to being, it makes sense, but you can't have that happen. It's unacceptable. But you can see why. And so Bergeron, Marchand throws a pass over to Grzelcyk, who pinched in down low, and Grzelcyk gets it by Trouba. So, a little bit of Trouba was in a tough spot, but at that point, a little bit of a rough game for Trouba. Grzelcyk gets it over to Bergeron, who buries it. Easy goal. Nothing that Shesterkin could do about it. The Bruins take a 2-1 lead, but the Rangers do what they do, and it would be Dryden Hunt getting his second goal of the season from Lindgren and Fox. Fox gets it over to Lindgren. Lindgren takes a really nice shot, and Hunt, easy rebound, open net, buries it by Jeremy Swayman, the goaltender for the Bruins. So that ties it up at 2, and Panarin would take a penalty, but the Rangers killed off. So the Rangers penalty kill continues to, for the most part, and I would say this is true, do a really good job. PK has mostly been good. And so we go to the third, and the score is tied. And in the beginning of the period, I thought the Bruins were controlling play a bit, not getting great chances. And I think the 36 to 31 shots by the Bruins are a bit misleading. Shesterkin was tested, but not crazily. It just, the first period was really bad. But at 11:35 in the third, it is really a very nice pass by Gauthier to get it over the defenseman, and Panarin bats it in the air and in. And this was soon after the Kreider miss on that Michigan play. That's what I mean. That was the first time that we'd ever seen a play like that. So it's dubbed the Michigan play. And so Panarin scores his 5th of the season from Gauthier and Strome. So that's 2 points for Strome at that point. That is 2 points for Panarin. And then at 16:22, 3-2 game, Alexis Lafreniere. And Lafreniere's had an knack for this. Lafreniere has really done a good job of scoring goals late in games, I've noticed. So even though I feel like he has a lot more to give, and I haven't been all that impressed by Lafreniere, he does have the ability to score big goals. We've seen that in his short career. There's a clutchness to him. But again, Gauthier made a really, really nice play. And that's why I feel like if I had to give a player of the game, beyond Shesterkin, let's just take him out of the equation, I'd give it to Gauthier. I guess it'd be between Gauthier and Panarin, but Gauthier really just came through on both of those goals in a major way. Fox gets another assist. And then Jacob Trouba before that, late in the game, a Charlie McAvoy, they called it a trip. It was really like a trip or a knee to Kevin Rooney. Pretty dirty play by the Long Beach boy, McAvoy. It didn't look good. Rooney's fine, luckily. And Barclay Goodrow would get a cross-checking penalty as retaliation. You'd like to see it for the Rangers. We've seen a lot of that. Sticking up for teammates. That has been a constant thing for this team this season. And that's something that we didn't always see maybe in recent years, but we're seeing that now. And so you love the response. And I didn't love that play by McAvoy, but, no harm, no foul, I guess. Then Jacob Trouba scores an empty net goal, just sort of a prayer, basically from his own, from behind the net, goes in, makes it 5-2. And then at the bench with about 12 seconds left, misconducts to Panarin and Marchand. And Panarin throws his glove at Marchand. And, I think it was kind of funny, but yeah, there's reports that, apparently Marchand, and again, this happens in hockey. We know this is what Brad Marchand does. He gets under the opponent's skin. He talks shit. Apparently he was talking about Putin and obviously in regards to Panarin. And there was that whole thing last year, of course, where, there might have been a hit out on Panarin, and, Panarin doesn't think highly of Putin. Apparently, I mean, the point is, Marchand might have hit a level that might have crossed the line, that might have just been more than your regular shit talk. But either way, that's going to be like a gif, I think, that we're going to see for a while. Panarin throwing that glove at Marchand. And as a Ranger fan, you got to love it. I mean, Marchand is a very sort of hated guy. Rangers are winning the game, so not much, to dislike, but certainly a funny look for sure. But the Rangers win. That's all that matters. They improved to 13-4-3. And now next is the Islanders. They play the Islanders again, and the Islanders are on an 8-game losing streak. I mean, they are pretty decimated right now. They're having major trouble scoring goals, but you cannot take them lightly. You cannot. And I think it's very important to win that game. And not just for you, but, this is your rival, one of your rivals, and, for the Islanders to continue the losing streak and to continue the slide. And I hope that Shesterkin's in net. It wouldn't shock me if it's Georgiev. I just think he's been so poor that I just don't even think you can take that chance. I would go with Shesterkin. Yes, I think, for example, Georgiev, he'll go next week. He will, because there's a back-to-back where the Rangers play the Sharks and the Blackhawks. Georgiev's going to get one of those games, for sure. The question is, does Georgiev get this one against the Islanders? I fear like he might, but I'm hoping that they I'm hoping that it's a situation where, look, it's the Islanders, let's just go with Shesterkin, but the Islanders aren't playing well. And not to say they would take them lightly, but maybe they feel like, look, the Islanders are having trouble scoring goals. Maybe we'll give Georgiev a shot. He does have good career numbers against the Islanders. I don't think that means much, but that will be something to watch for. But I think it's important to win that game and keep the winning momentum moving forward. So Rangers beat the Bruins. They improved to 13-4-3, and this has been a very, very exciting season through 20 games.